Thanks for joining us for another episode of NIC TV. I am Christine Forbes. In this episode, we are in Parnassus, Clarendon, where the team from the NIC and contractors are overseeing the installation of one of 3 pump sets that will serve scores of farmers in this area. The Parnassus project forms part of the Southern Plains Agriculture Development Project being implemented in sections of St. Catherine and here in Clarendon. Let's first dive into the details of the irrigation infrastructure for this section of the project.
We are standing at the location of the Windsor Lodge 11, which is one of 3 pumping stations that is supposed to supply the irrigation system for the Parnassus scheme. Comprising of about 240 hectares of lands, subdivided into 5 hectares block, so we will have approximately 100 farmers here. This pump will supply roughly about 33% of the supply. On average, about 420 liters per second is required for this project area. This pump is supplying 138 liters per second of that amount. The system is comprised of a pressurized network that will supply water to the farmers via a network of about 17 kilometers of pipeline, ranging in diameters from 110 millimeters to 450 millimeters. The bigger sizes will form what we call the primary network, and which is about 70% of this amount, and the secondary network, which will run from about 14 irrigation unit chambers, which will use to distribute the water to the various farming lots.
This piece of blue equipment being lifted is the turbine pump, and as the contractor explains, it is being installed some 180 feet underground. But how will the water reach the surface when this pump is just about 10 feet long?
We have just started to install the turbine. The turbine is the actual pump, and what they are doing right now is installing the column pipes. What the columns are, these are responsible for taking the water from the well and transporting it to the surface. And we will be installing, as I said before, 180 feet of pipe. And what is inclusive of the columns are also retainers and bearings, just to keep the shaft, which will be running from the pump, steady.
And before the team installs the pump, there is one more important task that must be done.
See, what we have here is a conical strainer. Its purpose is to basically prevent particles from entering into the turbine. So when we are installing pump sets, it's very critical that we have strainers on the systems, because even if it's a new well, the particles inside can actually damage the turbine. So that's what they are installing now. And also, while installing every different section of the pump set, so we ensure that we grease all the joints to prevent cross-threading, because it's stainless steel. Once it's cross-thread, we're gonna have to basically bring it to the machine shop and basically do it over.
And that's it for this episode of NIC TV. Thanks for having joined us. Please remember to connect with us on our social media platforms at NIC Jamaica Ltd and visit our website at www.nicjamaica.com.